What's a rule your parents had that you thought was silly at the time and still can't quite understand? My father installed a tetherball game in our backyard. We weren't allowed to play it because we would ruin the grass. It hung there for years and we just stared at it from the porch. My mom was extremely wary of anything related to magic. She wouldn't allow us to have cats because she thought they were evil. One time my cousin got me a history of magic book for Christmas, confiscated and never seen again. I tried to sneak and play D&D in high school. She found out and banned me from the after-school club. She's not religious or anything, she just doesn't think it's a good idea to mess with magic. If you asked to do something, the answer was always no. If you didn't ask, it was 95% of the time allowed, with maybe a few questions. Not me, but my friends' parents didn't allow Adidas because they were told it stands for All Day I Dream About Sex. My mom would let me watch any rated R movie that I wanted, but would not let me buy a CD with the explicit language icon. My mom prohibited using the washing machine between Christmas and New Year's. She believed it would bring death in the family in the following year. Never made sense in any way, just a superstition. When I finally moved out, it was a really big deal for me to finally be able to wash my clothes in that time period. And as expected, my family was fine a year after. I wasn't allowed to shower until my homework was done. But I also wasn't allowed to shower past 7 p.m. So between getting home from school, homework, eating dinner, etc., I wasn't allowed to watch any type of TV. I'm talking no movies, even Disney movies, cable, anything, etc. I had to secretly watch X-Files with my dad on the weekend when she didn't know. Yet my mom let me play video games. I still don't get that one. My grandma didn't like me watching TV while I was on my bed. Why did you put a TV in my bedroom then? Thinking face, man shrugging. Dinner often involved getting shouted at by my dad. We weren't allowed to leave the dinner table even if we were really upset. In a normal family I can understand not being allowed to leave the table until everyone was finished eating. But I guess my dad just wanted to sit there and eat while we cried. When I was 11 I wasn't allowed to buy a black bathing suit. No reason given. When I was 12 and bathing suit shopping, mother suggested this black one. I said I'd try it, but asked when the no black bathing suit rule changed, and she denied there had ever been such a rule. So I guess she couldn't understand the rule either, even though it was her rule. Why I couldn't shave or wear deodorant until after I graduated high school. Seriously, WTF. No watching sci-fi because my mom did not like it? She could have just not watched it, she wasn't watching anything else in the same time. When we have guests over, you either sit down quietly or go upstairs. Adults aren't here for you. Don't talk to them. I still can't comprehend not allowing your children to have a conversation with your friends. My dad wouldn't let me wear studded belts because that's what strippers wear. I've never heard of a stripper wearing a belt, but whatever. I wasn't allowed to wear headphones / listen to music in the house. Edit, my mother's reasoning was that it was a sign of depression and she didn't want to see it. Yuck was a bad word. Like, swear word bad, and I wasn't allowed to say it. Not because it was insulting to say about food someone had worked hard to prepare. No, it was bad because it rhymed with an actual swear word. My father was a doctor. I had to answer the phone. Dr. XYZ residence U / gesture for speaking. I can't tell you how many times people would just talking about all their medical problems and I'd have to remind them, this is his residence. My mother arbitrarily declared that I couldn't wear shorts unless it was 75 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Still makes me mad when I think about it. I wasn't allowed to grow facial hair. I have no idea why. I asked. I still have no idea. I never understood why I couldn't say the word "my parents are deceased," and I still don't get it. Thinking face. I wasn't allowed to have girls in my bedroom. The finished basement with a couch and TV was fine, though. My parents stayed upstairs when we had someone over. I actually discussed this with my husband yesterday. It wasn't from both parents, but my mother. I was not allowed to read Judy Blume books. I don't know why, but I was not allowed to read that specific author. However, I was allowed to read V.C. Andrews and Ann Rule books. So extremely dysfunctional families and rather gory true crime. I found my way around it by reading Judy Blume books at school. I wasn't allowed to take our dog for a walk outside of his scheduled walk time. No, my parents, but my sister doesn't allow her kids to ask what's for dinner because that's an adult concern that children don't need to worry about. When she told me that, I was like, WTF. I was not allowed to watch My Two Dads because without ever having seen an episode, my mom was convinced it was part of the gay agenda. I reminded my mom of this a year ago. She apologized and I give her a lot of credit for that. When we went away for a week for a holiday, my parents used to cover every mirror in the house in case lightning would be attracted to the mirror and come in through the closed window and strike it. No amount of me telling them this was rubbish would change their minds.